The bond we have with our dogs, it's this amazing silent conversation, isn't it? It's all about love, loyalty, and just thousands of moments you share together. But what happens in their final chapter? So many of us who've been through it have seen these subtle little shifts in how they act, and it feels like something more is happening, something intentional.
And that brings us to this really big question, one that's both beautiful and just completely heart-wrenching. In this explainer, we're going to explore the instincts, the behaviors, and the stories that might help us understand the quiet ways our best friends seem to prepare us for their departure. So let's start to unravel this silent conversation together.
This thought really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. It's this idea that their love doesn't just vanish at the end, it just changes. It gets quieter, softer, and maybe even more profound. All right, so let's dive in and explore what this final loving communication can actually look like. And we're not doing this to focus on the sadness, but really as a way to honor that incredible connection we get to have with them. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go back, like way back to their roots in the wild. Our dogs, just like their wolf ancestors, are pack animals. And this instinct, it's so deeply coded in them that it's the first huge clue in this mystery. So here's the thing that's absolutely crucial to understand. This is not about rejection. In the wild, if a wolf got sick or weak, it would actually move away from the pack. But why? Well, it was to avoid attracting predators. It was a final, selfless act of protection. And in your home, you are their pack. And what's so fascinating is how this one instinct can show up in two totally opposite ways. Some dogs become our little shadows, right? They need constant contact, just soaking up every last moment with their pack. But then others follow that ancient instinct to pull away, to find a quiet spot. And they're not pushing us away, they're trying to protect us. Both behaviors come from the exact same place, this powerful love for their family. So let's move from instinct to action. How do our dogs actually communicate with us in those final days? Well, they have this rich, silent language, and it can become incredibly powerful and clear if we know what to look for. One of the most amazing examples is something people call eye hugging. You know that look, that deep, soulful gaze that just holds for a second longer than usual? That's not in your head. That kind of eye contact is a real bonding behavior. It literally releases oxytocin, the love hormone, in both you and your dog. It's their way of trying to connect with you on the absolute deepest level possible. And then there's this incredible phenomenon called the last rally. This is when a dog who has been really weak and tired suddenly perks up. They might get up, wag their tail, maybe even grab a toy. Now, it can be confusing and give you a bit of false hope, but vets often see this as a final, beautiful gift. It's one last moment of their old self, creating one last happy memory for you before they rest. And really, the list of these quiet goodbyes just goes on. It could be them making a point to gently nuzzle every single person in the family, or maybe offering you their favorite, most chewed-up toy. It might be as simple as resting their head on your foot one last time. All these little things, they're not random. They feel like deliberate acts of love. To really see how profound these moments can be, let me share a story from the source material. It's about Bella, a Labrador who'd been with her owner, Sarah, for 14 years. On her final morning, Bella was on her blankets, and she was just too weak to even lift her head. The vet had come to the house so Bella could pass peacefully at home, and while the vet got ready, Sarah knelt down right beside her best friend, just whispering all her thank yous and goodbyes for a whole lifetime of love. And right at that moment, as Sarah was finishing, something incredible happened. Bella, who seemed barely conscious, started to move, and you could tell it took every last bit of energy she had. She managed to turn her head, find Sarah's hand, and she gave one single, gentle lick. That one little gesture, something she'd done thousands of times out of pure joy, was now delivered with her last ounce of strength. It was a complete, perfect goodbye, all in one conscious action. Wow. Bella's story, it really shows us their side of things, doesn't it? But it also shines a bright light on our role in all of this, because our dogs aren't just driven by instinct. They're incredibly emotionally intelligent, and how we feel plays a huge part in their final journey. I mean, they are absolute masters at reading us. They feel our sadness, our stress, our grief, And a lot of experts believe that a dog's final actions are often their attempt to comfort us, to try and soothe our emotions and let us know it's okay. It's just an unbelievable display of empathy. And that's why this is so important to remember. Our calmness is the greatest gift we can give them. When we can manage to create a peaceful, serene space, we're sending them a clear message. We're telling them the pack is safe, that we're going to be all right, and that it's okay for them to finally let go and rest. Look, we all know navigating this time is just unbelievably hard, and making those final decisions can feel impossible. That's where a tool like this quality of life scale, which vets use all the time, can be so helpful. It lets you take a step back from all the heavy emotion for a second and just look at their life objectively. You can assess things like their pain, their mobility, and maybe the most important one, are they still finding happiness in their favorite things? It's designed to bring just a little bit of clarity to what is ultimately the most difficult, but also the most loving decision we ever have to make for them. So, we come back to that big question we started with. Do our dogs say goodbye? And maybe the answer isn't a simple yes or no. Maybe the real answer is about what these final moments truly mean for the bond that we share with them. You know, in the end, whether it's a deep-seated instinct to protect the pack or a conscious, intentional act of love, does it really matter? What matters is the communication itself. These final gestures are just this powerful, beautiful testament to a connection that is truly unbreakable. This quote just says it all, really. It validates that feeling we get in those last moments, that sense that they are making sure we know they loved us too. And that is a gift that we get to carry with us forever. You know, going through this journey, as painful as it is, it changes you. It deepens our own ability to feel empathy and compassion. It's their final, powerful lesson to us about how important it is to cherish every single moment we have with the ones we love. And so that leaves us with one last thought to carry with us. Their goodbye isn't really an end. It's a transformation of that bond. It just becomes a part of our story. So the real question isn't whether they say goodbye. It's how do we choose to honor a love that, in so many ways, never truly ends?